I was Bill, the guy who could have any woman he wanted. I didn't need to try hard. My looks, my charm, and my confidence did all the work. I'd sweep them off their feet, enjoy the moment, and then move on. No strings attached. That was my rule. I never thought about the consequences. Why would I? I was living the dream. But deep down I knew I was playing with fire. I just didn't care. Until the night I took it too far. Started at a bar. I was there with a few buddies, scanning the room for my next conquest. That's when I saw her. She was stunning, tall with long dark hair and piercing green eyes. She was sitting alone, sipping a drink, and she looked like she didn't want to be bothered. Perfect. I sauntered over, flashed my signature smile, and started my usual routine. She was different though. She didn't fall for my charm right away. In fact, she seemed almost amused by me. That only made me more determined. We talked, we laughed, and by the end of the night, I had her number. I thought I'd won. I was wrong. Few days later, she texted me. She wanted to meet up at her place. I didn't think twice. I showed up, ready for another night of fun. But when I walked in, something felt off. The apartment was dimly lit, and there were candles everywhere. Before I could say anything, I heard the door lock behind me. That's when I saw them. 5 women stepped out of the shadows, all dressed in dark robes. The woman from the bar was among them, her green eyes gleaming with something I couldn't quite place. "You've been a very bad boy, Bill," she said, her voice cold and steady. I tried to laugh it off, make some joke, but they weren't laughing. Before I could react, they grabbed me. I fought, but they were stronger than they looked. Way stronger. They tied me to a chair, and I could feel the panic rising in my chest. This wasn't a joke. This wasn't a game. They started chanting, their voices low and rhythmic. The air grew thick, and the candles flickered as if caught in an invisible breeze. One of the women stepped forward, holding a vial of glowing liquid. "This is your punishment," she said, her voice echoing in the room. "You will learn what it means to be a woman." She forced the vial to my lips, and I tried to resist, but it was no use. The liquid was warm, almost alive, and it burned as it went down. Then it started. At first, it was just a tingling in my fingers and toes. But it spread quickly like fire through my veins. My muscles softened, my skin felt smoother, and my body. It was changing. I could feel it. I tried to scream, but my voice, it wasn't mine anymore. It was higher, softer, feminine. They untied me and forced me to stand in front of a mirror. I didn't want to look, but I couldn't help myself. The man I used to be was gone. My body was slender, curvy. My hands were delicate, my nails long and painted red. My face, it was beautiful. High cheekbones, full lips, long eyelashes. And my hair, it was long, flowing, and silky. I reached up to touch my face, and my hands trembled. This wasn't me. This couldn't be me. But it was. The women started dressing me, and I couldn't stop them. They put me in a dress, high heels, jewelry. I tried to fight it, but my body, it felt right. Like it was meant to be this way. I looked in the mirror, and for a split second I felt a strange sense of pride. I was stunning. But then the panic set in. This wasn't me. I wasn't supposed to be like this. They let me go, but they warned me there was no going back. I didn't believe them. I ran home, hoping this was just some nightmare I'd wake up from. But when I got there, everything was different. My apartment was girly. Pink walls, lace curtains, makeup on the dresser. My clothes were gone, replaced with dresses, skirts, and heels. My ID, my photos. Everything showed me as a woman. I tried to call my friends, but they didn't recognize my voice. They thought I was some random woman prank calling them. I was trapped. First I tried to fight it. I refused to wear the dresses, refused to touch the makeup. But the thoughts, they wouldn't stop. I kept noticing things I never cared about before. How soft my skin was, how pretty my hair looked when I brushed it. I found myself staring at the makeup, wondering what it would feel like to wear it. One night I gave in. I tried on some foundation, then mascara, then lipstick. Felt good. I painted my nails red, and when I looked in the mirror, I couldn't help but smile. I was beautiful. But then the guilt set in. This wasn't me. I wasn't supposed to be like this. I tore off the dress, scrubbed the makeup from my face, and threw the nail polish across the room. But the thoughts didn't go away. They only grew stronger. Days turned into weeks, and the changes became harder to ignore. My thoughts were no longer my own. I found myself drawn to things I had never cared about before. Fashion, makeup, romance. I started experimenting with my appearance, trying on different outfits, styling my hair and applying makeup. Felt right. Like this was who I was meant to be. But it also terrified me. I didn't want to be this person. I didn't want to be a woman. But the more I fought it, the harder it became. My desires began to shift as well. I found myself attracted to men, something that had never happened before. I felt a flutter in my chest when a handsome man smiled at me, a warmth in my stomach when I received a compliment. I tried to fight these feelings, but they were too strong, too overwhelming. Eventually I gave in. I stopped fighting and started embracing the person I had become. I made new friends, women who accepted me for who I was, and I even started dating. My first date was with a man named Daniel, a kind and gentle soul who treated me with respect and admiration. I found myself falling for him, something I never thought possible. I enjoyed the way he made me feel, the way he made me laugh, the way he made me feel beautiful. For the first time in my life I felt happy. But there was always that nagging thought in the back of my mind. This wasn't who I was supposed to be. This wasn't the life I had chosen. But as the days turned into months, even that thought began to fade. The woman I had become was no longer a stranger. She was me. And for better or worse, this was my life now. One night I had a dream. I was back in that room, tied to the chair, surrounded by the women who had changed me. The woman with the green eyes stepped forward, her gaze piercing. "Do you understand now?" she asked. I didn't answer. I didn't need to. I woke up with a newfound clarity. This wasn't just a punishment. It was a lesson. A lesson in empathy, in understanding, in what it truly means to be a woman. And as much as I hated to admit it, I had learned.